Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into a massive, absolutely vital topic: global workplace safety and basic fire response. Our goal here is to really understand the true scale of workplace hazards out there, and more importantly, how we can systematically respond to protect ourselves and our colleagues. Let's dive right in, because the stakes here are literally life and death.
So, 2.93 million. Let that number just sit with you for a second. It's a staggering statistic from the International Labor Organization. That's the number of workers who die every single year from work-related factors. It's a deeply sobering reality, but it immediately establishes exactly why occupational safety isn't just some regulatory checkbox you tick off. It's a fundamental human necessity.
But you know, the danger doesn't stop at fatalities. 395 million. That represents the massive scale of non-fatal work injuries sustained worldwide each and every year. Let that sink in. Hundreds of millions of people are getting hurt just trying to do their jobs. It really illustrates that danger isn't just a freak anomaly, it's a constant presence that requires active, daily management.
Now, we aren't just going to look at these grim statistics and throw our hands up, right? We have to look at the systemic solutions implemented out there to prevent these exact tragedies. And a massive part of our defense against everyday danger comes down to how we talk about and label hazards, specifically hazard communication.
All right, Section 1, the right to understand. This brings us to a really crucial, modernized approach pioneered by OSHA. Under the old system, workers had the right to know. But let's be honest, simply providing information, often buried in dense technical jargon, is clearly no longer enough. We've shifted into a new era that prioritizes the right to understand. By aligning with the globally harmonized system, hazard information is now required to be clear, coherent, and totally accessible to the people who are actually interacting with it every single day.
So, how exactly did OSHA pull this off? Well, through 4 highly practical changes. First, they set specific criteria for classifying health and physical hazards. Second, harmonized single words and universal pictograms. So a hazard symbol in one facility means the exact same thing in another facility, halfway across the world. Third, standardizing those old data sheets into strict 16-section safety data sheets. And finally, mandatory worker training. It's a comprehensive overhaul.
And the whole engine driving this is the Hazard Communication Standard, or HCS for short. This is what holds chemical manufacturers and importers accountable. They have to evaluate the hazards, prepare the labels, and create those 16-section data sheets to convey the information down the chain to you, the worker. It is the absolute backbone of transparent workplace safety.
Moving on to Section 2, Physical Hazards and the Escape Priority.
Okay, so we've talked about understanding chemical labels, but what happens when a sudden physical hazard literally erupts right in front of you, specifically a fire? The National Fire Protection Association, the NFPA, has a core doctrine for this. Because fire grows and spreads so rapidly, the #1 priority for residents is to get out safely. Safe escape always takes precedence over attempting to fight a fire yourself.
Now, if you are actually going to use a portable fire extinguisher, the criteria are strictly defined, no exceptions. The fire has to be small and confined, kind of like a fire in a wastebasket. It cannot be growing. Everyone else must have already exited the building, and the fire department must be actively being called. And crucially, the room cannot be filled with smoke. If even one of these criteria isn't met, you do not fight the fire. You evacuate immediately.
And this actually brings up a really critical boundary set by the NFPA. Children should never be trained to operate fire extinguishers. While I know it might seem counterintuitive to some, teaching kids to fight a fire runs directly counter to the absolute priority of teaching them to just get out and stay out. They simply might not have the maturity to gauge a fire's true danger, nor the physical dexterity to handle a heavy extinguisher. Leave the firefighting to the adults.
Which leads us to Section 3, using fire extinguishers, the pass method. So, assuming you are an adult and all those strict safety criteria we just talked about are met, how do you actually operate the thing? You use a highly practical, step-by-step technique called the pass method. It's designed specifically to anchor your muscle memory when your adrenaline is absolutely spiking. P, pull the pin. A, aim low at the base of the fire. S, squeeze the lever slowly and evenly. And S, sweep the nozzle from side to side. Pull, aim, squeeze, sweep. Memorize it.
To make sure you're fully prepared before anything ever happens, here are a few actionable best practices. Select a multi-purpose extinguisher that handles different fire types, and always look for a label from an independent testing laboratory. You absolutely must read the instructions before a fire breaks out. Trust me, you're not going to have time when smoke is billowing. And finally, install the extinguisher close to an exit.
And why install it right by the exit? Well, it comes down to this absolute, non-negotiable tactical rule. Always keep your back to a clear exit. If you are sweeping the base of a fire and it unexpectedly surges, you need to be able to drop the device and make an immediate, unobstructed escape. Never, ever let a fire get between you and your only way out.
So we've covered a lot today. We've looked at those staggering global statistics, the modernized right-to-understand frameworks, and the life-saving physical mechanics of a proper fire escape. I want to leave you with a provocative question to assess your own personal readiness right now. Do you know your exact exit routes today? And do you truly understand the hazard pictograms around you at work? Take a quick moment to look around your environment, because understanding the hazard and knowing how to escape are the ultimate keys to your safety. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Stay safe out there, and I'll catch you next time.